even though you feel physical, you feel like, you know, you have a solid body, but most of even the most solid substances on our planet, or in you know, in the universe, they're mostly space, because an atom, you know, essentially you're made of atoms at the basic level. So an atom is 99.999% space, and you know, in this diagram it doesn't, you can't see it, but the middle, the nucleus, is just tiny proportion of an atom, and the rest, you know, the electrons are also not like solid bodies. They're more like wave particles, so it's more like an energy field around. And when you even look at the nucleus, the densest part of an atom, it is mostly, you know, it breaks down into smaller and smaller components. It's not solid. Nothing is solid in our universe. It's all sort of movement and particles and energy and wave functions and frequencies and such things. And so are you. So depending on where the type of emotions or your thoughts you're habitually having will determine where you are on that continuum of the wave function and what is available to you. In the higher frequencies, you have a lot more insights, things that, you know, it's like almost like having quantum leaps in whatever you're trying to achieve. Whereas in the lower frequencies, there is more of a struggle. So this the space between us is what connects us. So everything is space, even the most solid aspects. Your body is mostly space, and this space, it's light, this energy, this frequency is what permeates everything. It's the one thing that is forever constant. It's you know, it connects objects at a huge distance away. It's the one uniformity. The underlying space structure is the one uniformity, and I think that is what how your emotions and the frequency of your emotions is able to impact what's actually happening in your world. You know, so depending on where you are in your thoughts and your emotions will determine what kind of space matrix that you are connecting to, and what kind of experiences you're attracting in your life. Okay, I know it seems a bit metaphysical, but I've used this, I've practiced this, so I do know that it does seem to work. So I have, like, you know, I don't share anything that I've not actually tried myself. And the other thing is quite interesting to share as well, is that to be aware of all the movement that's happening around us. So for example, you know, you're at a fundamental level, you're made of atoms and those electrons, those nuclei are all energy particles vibrating and moving. So this, you're not really solid, even though you might think that you are. And we're living on a planet that is spinning on its axis. I think it's like 10,000 miles an hour or something like that, very fast, and it's faster at the equator than it is at the poles because of the larger diameter. So we are on a planet that is spinning on its axis. This planet is also spinning around the sun. So, you know, it takes a year to do a circle around the sun. So, but our classical model makes us think that there are cycles being repeated, you know, like every year, every summer and autumn and winter. So it gives that kind of illusion of being some kind of cyclical, but some kind of permanence. But what's actually also happening is that our sun, that the Earth is spinning around our solar system, our sun is also circling the Milky Way galaxy, the center of the Milky Way galaxy. And I think it takes millions of years for it to do that. And so the Earth is following the sun while the sun is also moving. So maybe this carries on at, you know, at different levels as well. But just to be aware that you're never in the same space twice. You are moving through time and space at a very, very fast rate. So just to have that knowledge that habitually you have this idea, one, that you're made of space, and secondly, that you're moving through space and time very, very fast. So to have this idea that this is me, this is who I am, this is how I've always been, it is a bit of an illusion. But we tend to maintain that kind of personality, the personhood, because it's very sort of strong gravitational pull attached to it. But just be aware how much energy it takes to maintain that sense of self, or what the self that you've been, and the personality that you are, when you are being exposed to new experiences, new thoughts, new insights all the time. So when we're trying to maintain something, we're closed off on all of that. But whereas if you start to process things as they happen, process your emotions, like some of the so-called negative emotions, I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just they need to be felt and processed and neutralized, so they move through you. So you're not sort of pushing them down and holding them and not dealing with them. So we will look at that in the future episodes of this series, how to deal with your emotions and how to process them. So just to be aware, so this sense of being made of space, moving through space and time at a very fast rate, but you're holding on to who you are. So just maybe being open to the possibilities that change is possible, that change might not be such a bad thing, that it is possible for you to have different experiences, different types of experiences in your life, rather than what's happened so far. Just being open to that possibility.